Welcome back to Sofrito con Chile. Excuse my setup here. Currently in my sister's space, borrowing her ring light and whatnot, but I got this idea a few weeks back and I figured it's definitely worth doing a video on. So what I'm going to talk about today is some of the books I read during 2019. I don't think I've ever actually mentioned this on our channel, but I absolutely love to read. I don't consider myself a very picky reader, but I do know things I don't like. So I don't like anything that's like self-help. I'm not into it. Autobiographies, depends. I have one here, but that's not always what I want to read about. And then I'm not into anything with like a third world or like, I don't know, like Harry Potter or Twilight-esque. Like if it's not realistic, if it's not something that could actually happen, then it's not something I want to read about. So what I want to do today is just talk to you about some of the books I've read this past year, and then my idea is that for 2020 I'll kind of do like a quarterly, you know, these are the books that I read, let's talk about it kind of thing. I don't know, a few people have told me to do like a book club and stuff. I don't know about all that, but I definitely just want to tell you about some good reads I had and maybe some flops if, you know, if they weren't that great. I'll be honest and transparent in saying that too. So I thought about putting all the books on the floor, but then I'd be moving around way too much, so we're just going to work with the pile I have here. So let's kind of do this like this. So I read this book, it's super dusty, this is kind of gross. I read this book a few months ago, probably, I don't know, September or something, and it's called Never Let You Go by Chevy Stevens, and here is the cover. And I actually picked up this book not because it was like a top seller or anything like that. I went to Barnes & Noble and I had a gift card for $25, and I wanted to get as many books as I could for $25 without having to pay with my own money. So there was like a section of books that were like on clearance or on sale, and I just browsed around and this was one of the ones that I had picked up. So yeah, Never Let You Go. I think I'm starting to get into more crime or like suspense kind of books and whatnot, and this is definitely one of those. Without giving away too much, I'll read to you the first sentence and then I'll let you guys kind of take it from there. So 11 years ago, Lindsay Nash escaped into the night with her young daughter and left an abusive relationship. Her ex-husband, Andrew, was sent to jail, and Lindsay has started over with a new life. So what happens now? Highly recommend the book. It's actually quite the page turner, and I don't know why it was on clearance. It was really good. So there's that. Okay, so my next two books, some of you may have already seen the cover there, but it is the Handmaid's Tale series. So here you have the Handmaid's Tale, and the other one is called The Testament. I read these both honestly back to back. I'm a huge Handmaid's Tale fan. I love the show. I binged watched it. It's like a bonding time for my sister and I, and usually if something's on TV, I don't really care to read about it after, you know what I mean? Like I like to read the book first and get my own characters and like paint the scene my way and then watch the show, or watch the movie anyway. But I ended up watching Handmaid's Tale, and I didn't know there was a book. I didn't know that it was based off of the book, and I ended up getting it later. And to be honest, if you're a really diehard Handmaid's Tale fan, I do think that you should watch the show first, because the book allows for you to have some extra context, and I think it's hard to imagine what Gilead is actually like without watching the show. You know what I mean? I think like how gloomy it seems and the colors that they wear and what these women are dealing with. The book goes into detail, but the show just takes it to the next level. I think they did an incredible job really telling the story. And then The Testament is a little bit of a plot twist. So if you haven't watched the show, I don't want to give anything away, but it definitely dives into like the next piece of June's life. So yeah, The Testament and Handmaid's Tale. The Testament, when I bought this one, was on sale at Barnes & Noble, but it still wasn't on paperback yet, so I don't know if now that's changed. Obviously, you know, I commute to work, I take the train into the city, so having this massive book is a commitment, but I was committed, so there was that. On another note, I think this one was a very, like, definitely a tougher book, and I read so many books. I'm kind of annoyed that I couldn't find all of them anyway, but I'll try to think of some other ones. So Randy and I had gone to Philly randomly over the summer, and we went to the Eastern State Penitentiary. They have like a haunted maze tour around Halloween and whatnot, and at the end they talk about like the modern prison system and whatnot, and there was a little shop and you can get like trinkets or whatever, souvenirs, and I saw books, and obviously I'm like, ooh, let's see what they've got. And I picked this one up. So I got this book, and then I also picked up the new Jim Crow. So and I guess another fun fact, I loved history courses when I was in high school and college, and I was very, very, very invested in everything post 1900s. It was just something that really caught my attention. So the new Jim Crow kind of talks you through what modern day slavery in the US. I don't know how to make that sound any softer. It's not a soft topic. It's heavy. It's a very, very heavy book. Maybe not a page turner for some, but I highly recommend reading it and having a better understanding of our prison system. So anyway, this other book is called Inside This Place, Not of It, and it's narratives from women's prisons. Serious trigger warning. It is dark, it is deep, it is heavy, it's rough. Some of the women that are incarcerated are, in prison for really serious crimes, and others are for misdemeanors, and it's unfortunate. It's a tough one to read. I honestly did not know what this book was going to be like, so I think, like I said, trigger warning for sexual violence. There's a lot of trauma and whatnot, so if that's something that you're sensitive to, I probably would not recommend this. But again, I'm very interested in knowing what really goes on in different situations, so this was for me a good read, but definitely a difficult one. Alrighty, so next book, Stay With Me. My bestie Charlotte actually got this for me for my birthday, and I fell in love with the book Americanah. She's not the same author, right? No. No, she's not the same author, sorry, but I'm like trying to figure out what else did I read. Not the same author, but she's also, I believe Americanah is written by a Nigerian author, and I can't recall this woman's origins. Her name is Ayobami Adebayo. Stay With Me, last year and even in 2018, I was really learning about different Nigerian authors, women at that, and I was very much into their books, and Americanah was one of them. A Yellow Sun, is it? Those two are by the same authors. Again, I'm sorry. We moved over the summer, like my parents, and I have a lot of my books in boxes and stuff, so I couldn't remember all the names, but that one's also very good. So Stay With Me was kind of in that same writing style, and I really enjoyed this one too. So I'll give you a little, this takes place in Nigeria too. So in Ilesa, Nigeria, ever since they met and fallen in love at university, Yejide and Akin have agreed polygamy is not for them. But 4 years into their marriage, after consulting fertility doctors and healers and trying strange teas and unlikely cures, Yejide is not pregnant. Dun, dun, dun. So I won't go into more detail, of course, but also another one that I recommend. This one's a classic. I don't even think I read it in 2019, but I was gifted this year by a friend of mine, and I ended up exchanging it, and that's why I got the Testaments, so the Handmaid's Tale book. But Drown by Junot Diaz, really, really, really like his style. It's funny, it's sarcastic, it's very deep. Some contents are super heavy, but he's a Latino author. I don't know, I think there's something about this that really kind of resonated with me. I like his work. The Brief and Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde was another one that he wrote. It's awesome. So I'm trying to see if there's like a little blur on this. Okay, maybe not, they don't always put them in the back. So yeah, sorry guys. Whatever, either way, I recommend that you read it. He's from DR, and it's a good book. It's a really, really good read. Enjoy that one. What kind of switch up my pile a little bit. So Becoming by Michelle Obama. Like I said, I'm not really into the autobiographies or biographies or anything like that. It's just like, I don't know, it doesn't do it for me. But this one was actually really good, very inspiring. I liked reading. I kind of heard it like in her voice and hearing her tell her story. So as the First Lady of the US for 2 terms, it was good. It was a good read. So if you haven't read it already, do it. I know this was like a popular 2018 Christmas gift, and that's actually when I got it, and I read it when Randy and I had went to Mexico. So definitely like this one. And I can't even pick this up. Here's another one from Barnes & Noble that I got on sale. This book was $6. So this is what I'm saying. There's like a little clearance section and you can find these books that are really inexpensive. So this is called The Trap by Melanie Raabe. I don't know, the sticker's covering her name. Also a really good one. It's suspense, thriller, crime, all that jazz. To make a long story short, this woman is an author, so that kind of gets a little confusing, but she's an author and she's kind of telling her story. Her sister was murdered years ago and she's kind of trying to figure out what it means to live without her. And yes, I won't give you much more than that, but that one was a good one too. I'm trying to think. So I went to the Amazon bookstore on 34th Street and picked up The Tattooist or The Tattooer of Auschwitz. It's either Tattooist or Tattooer. Loved that book. Really well written. Another page turner for me. I was like committed to it, and I actually got the sequel to that for Christmas. I'll like list them both down below, and I'll kind of, well, no, I won't give away the books I'm reading in 2020, but I will list The Tattooist of Auschwitz. And then, like I said, my plan is to talk to you guys somewhat similar to this sometime next year. The books will be fresh in my mind. I think it'll be easier to really give my opinion on it and whatnot. I haven't read any books that I haven't liked lately. I did buy, this was like years ago, I bought one that was an autobiography, and it was just, it wasn't for me. So yeah, but if I have any more that are flops, then I'll definitely let all of you know. I hope you enjoy this. Yeah, this is our kind of highlight of 2019. It will be our last video of 2019, 2020. We are so excited. I think Randy and I have really sat and talked and want to figure out a way to really commit to YouTube. And I know every time we come out with a new video, it's a similar song and dance, but know that we've got so much going on that it just makes it a bit difficult, not impossible, just difficult to film on top of all of that. But I really enjoy this. It's an outlet for me. And Randy's incredible with editing, and I know he enjoys it too. So we're excited. I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, happy New Year, and make sure you're reading. Bye.